Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with our second episode of A Deathly Desire. This is our limited series that is dedicated to the building, designing, and painting of our 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army. And as you can see, we've actually have quite a bit of this army fully completed. As you can see, we have about 2 units worth of infantry as well as 3 chariots all painted up so far. So we're about a third of the way done with this army, and the progress that we've currently made, and as you can see, it's coming out really awesome as well as really colorful, and at the same time looking really awesome as well. Just to be honest with you guys, for the most part for this video, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, most of the miniatures in this unit was already actually painted up. Actually, almost everything on this tabletop was painted already ahead of time, except for these 2 miniatures right over here, which is our Beastmen Destroyer, which is from the Warcry Spire Tyrants box set, as well as this 4th edition pewter Keeper of Secrets. This is the actual classic size and scale of the Keeper of Secrets from Warhammer Fantasy Battle in 4th edition. That's actually an old pewter model. Everything else though was pretty much painted ahead of time over the course of our channel's history. This Gorebeast Chariot, for example, was already pre-painted already. Same thing with these 20 Chaos Marauders with a unit champion, as well as this huge brick of 30 Beastmen as well. These guys were already pre-painted up as well. Same thing with these 2 chariots as well. They were also painted up. The only thing we really had to do real quick was do the base work on it because we had a different colored base on them originally. And so we rebased them with a different design to make them look like their own little Legion of Slaanesh armies, what we did. We also improved a little bit on the paint job on these guys as well, is what we also did in order to make them look better as well. And so that was the progress that we currently made on it. So this is where we're currently at right now. So with that being said, we're going to talk about exactly what the unit compositions are made out of. We're do some close-up shots and talk exactly about how we paint these guys up. So with that being said, let's get this on the roll. And the first thing we're going to start off with here is our 2 units over here. We're going to start with our Gorebeast Chariot as well as our Chaos Marauders. Alright, so first of all, starting off with our Gorebeast Chariot. So this is the Kala, the denied one, is what we call this unit. So as we said before, this unit miniature was actually already painted ahead of time, is what we actually did. We actually painted this up, years ago when we started doing our battle reports for our Chaos Undivided army. That's originally what it was part of. Now I'm not sure if you remember what the base looked like on it, but the bases were originally black bases with burnt sienna dry brushing on top of it, and they were rimmed in burnt sienna as well to make it look like they were running across a blasted wasteland. And since this is a Chaos Legion of Slaanesh, we decided to change the basing a little bit on it. So you can see we have this nice purplish gray looking base. It looks really cool. We wanted to make it look like these guys are coming out of like another dimension or an entirely different realm altogether, because Slaanesh has his own dimension, his own, eccentricities when it comes to his realm. So because that, we wanted to create that design. And how we did that basing work real quick is all we did is we just painted the entire base with purples. We used Concord Grape, which is made by Apple Barrel Paint. We painted the entire base in Concord paint, and then we dry brushed it with Granite Gray to give this nice little ashen, highlighting color to it. And then we rimmed the bases in Anita's Gray acrylic paint to make this purple base color that we did. Also for the miniature as well, what we did is before we discovered the quick cheapskate method for painting up miniatures, we used to be just like everybody else at one time with this channel. We used expensive paints, and we used Games Workshop oil washes and stuff like that. But what we did for this time is that we covered the entire thing in our mid-wax poly shade with Mission Oak to get that nice oil wash finish, and it came out even better looking, bringing out all the details on this miniature as well. So that thing looks absolutely fantastic for Dakala, the denied one, our studio's Gorebeast Chariot for our Shrieking Masquerade, which is what we're calling this army. 3,000 points of Chaos Legion Slaanesh. Now this unit of Chaos Marauders here, these guys should look very familiar to you guys. If you used to follow our Age of the Realms battle reports, when we used to do those back in the days, we were actually using these guys as Carrick Acolytes for our studio's Sneech Arcanites army. And this guy here in the middle here should be also very familiar to you guys as well if you watch those Age of the Realm battle reports. And these guys, like I said before, were already pre-painted. We painted these guys up back when we used to do Age of Sigmar battle reports. The only major difference that we did this time, though, is of course we did the bases, and we did exactly the same base work like we did in the Chariot for these guys as well. Same thing with this champion character that we have here as well. And we already talked about how we painted these guys up a long time ago. Now, if you're wondering what miniatures these miniatures are actually from an old Games Workshop Milton Bradley game called Battle Masters, is what it was called. And in that game, you got what was called 10 Chaos Archers. So they have like these Marauder looks. They got these straps and belts and stuff. And they got chainmail and bits of armor on them. So they look very much like a Slaanesh Marauder warband in that case. They actually remind me of the way the bad guys dressed in Mad Max the Road Warrior, is the way they kind of looked. So these guys originally were archers, but of course Chaos armies don't have archers in their army. So what I did is I just actually converted these guys real quick. I chopped off their arms is what I ended up doing. I also sculpted the chest out because originally these archers were, let's see here, like this guy here in the middle is a good example. See how his arm is twisted back towards his face? That's originally what the miniature looked like, and then that arm right there that's outstretched next to him that used to have a bow. So what I did is I cut off the arms and also re-sculpted some of their chests, so that way it looks like a normal chest and a face. And then what I did is I then painted it over and added arms from spare bits and bobs, primarily from Dark Eldar as well as from Dark Elves. They had left over from bits and bobs of that, as well as some Chaos Marauder weapons. And just glued them on, and then did a quick little paint job on these guys to make them look like Chaos Marauders, is what I did. So that's how this unit basically came about. We got 20 of these guys as well. In reality though, what I plan on doing is using these guys and combining with this Beastmen unit here to make a unit of 50 Bestigors, is what I'm planning on using with those guys. But at the same time though, I have enough to actually run Chaos Marauders if I want to, so if I want to change the list at all, it's very flexible and we can easily change that up as well. And that's the paint job that we've got on these two units. So that being said, let's go on with our next unit, which is this huge unit of Beastmen. Alright, so up next we have this huge unit of Beastmen. It's 30 Beastmen, and this unit is called the Beasts of the Midian is what it's called. And if you guys recognize these miniatures, like I said before, these guys were primarily painted up, all the Beastmen were anyways. And they used to be part of our Studio's Niche Arcanite army that we used to do for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. These guys were known as Zangor. We use them for the Zangor miniatures that we use, and that's why they got like this purplish and bluish paint job that we've done to them for the most part. So these guys were pretty already painted. We just had to change the base. As you can see, we did the basing to match the rest of the army. However, the miniatures that we did paint up for this unit are these two guys here. Let's just go and do a little close-up real quick of that. This guy here is the Bestigor Destroyer from the Spire Tyrants box set for Warcry. And as you can see, this guy looks really awesome. He's got this really cool gladiatorial Murmillo type of design going on with his helmet, as well as the chainmail he's wearing, like a chainmail cape, half cape. It's got this really cool armor design on it. And how we got that done is that we actually spray painted the entire miniature in Krylon flat gold spray paint, and then taking a fine point paintbrush, we took some Tahitian blue to match the shield colors anyways, and we painted the armor panels inside the scrollwork so that way we can maintain the scrollwork as well. So you can see here, it just came out really awesome too. Used some bronze paint to pin out the shaft of the mace that he's carrying, and then of course paint that in gunmetal gray. Just came really, really cool as well. As you can see, we also kind of maintained the same motif that the rest of the Beastmen have, with purple human flesh and then the brown for the burnt sienna, as well as territorial beige for the legs, so that way he matches up the rest of the unit as well. So he looks really, really cool. A very high quality sculpt. I really like to work on this guy a lot. And the next guy here that we have here, this is our unit champion. This is to Jacques the Overseer. This is going to be ran as a Doombull in our army. That's what I plan on using them for. But this miniature is actually the 4th edition of the Keeper's Secrets from Warhammer Fantasy Battle 4th edition. And this is what the original scale of that miniature was. So you can see, as like Keeper's Secrets, it's got a bull head, it's got 4 arms, 2 of them end on cloud claws. It just looks really, really awesome as well. Very high detailed sculpt. It's got like these kind of weird looking boots and stuff, as well as chainmail on the arm. It's got these really awesome Slaanesh rune medallions all over the miniature. And as you see, to make it match with the rest of the army as well, we did gold bordering on the scrollwork for the armor, on the manacles, as well as for the cloud claw armor. This thing looks really, really cool. And then we also used Tahitian blue for the blue armor panels. So that way it looks like it blends in with the rest of the unit as well. And this thing was a lot of fun to paint. Unfortunately, when I got this miniature, it was all kind of chewed up, so I had to scrape it down a lot, take off a lot of the bad paint job that was on it originally. The guy who originally owned this, who I bought this from, was a big fan of epoxy, so he just epoxied the heck out of it. And so because a lot of the epoxy covered a lot of the details, I had to scrape all that off and then get back to bare metal again, and then use that for everything else. So you see that it looks really, really cool. Did exactly the same job on the bases to match the rest of the army up as well. These guys are the Beasts of the Midian, which is the Beastmen unit that we have. And like I said, originally it's supposed to be this unit as well as this unit of Marauders, where we combine together and make a huge horde of 50 Bestigors. But like I said, if we want to, though, we can actually separate them into 2 different units. to add some versatility to this army as well. So far, that is what we have on those infantry units. And the last units we're going to talk about, of course, are our 2 units of chariots. And that's going to wrap it up for this one. Alright, so the very last 2 units we're going to talk about are our 2 chariots of chaos. As you can see, these are the close-up for the 2 units that we had. And they're very different looking Chaos Chariots because they're from 2 different generations of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. This one here on the left-hand side, this is from the 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The classic kit that came that you could either make a Gorebeast Chariot or a normal Chaos Chariot out of it. And the second one is actually from the 5th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. This is the old pewter Chaos Chariot. So you see it looks really, really cool with the halberdier as well as the guy with the whip and stuff driving the horses. That's like when the Chaos steeds look like normal steeds for this point as well. And as you can see, these are the way the paint jobs came out for these guys respectively. They look really, really awesome. Really happy with the way that these turned out. I'm going to turn these miniatures over to this side real quick so that you can see side profiles. So you can see they came out really awesome as well. And just like I said before, we did the quick paint method of these guys, gave them a quick oil wash to bring out all the additional details and look much more detailed than we did before. Originally the miniatures were quite flat looking because we didn't really know how to use washes when we first painted these guys up. We painted these guys up, 6-7 years ago, originally is when we painted these. So we did some touch-up paint, you know, because now we're better at painting now at the studio. So we did some touch-up paint, added some oil wash to these guys, and make them look really, really awesome as well. So that was all we mainly did. We just mainly just added an oil wash to these guys, sprayed them with some spray varnish to bring out the details, and of course we did the bases that you see here as well to make it match up with the rest of the army. So this is really, really nice looking with these 2 units as well. This guy over here on the left-hand side is called the Depravity of Enoch, while the over here on the right-hand side is called the Sign of Sylph is what it's called. And so these are 2 units of Chaos Chariots, and as you guys know, Chaos Chariots are extremely deadly in the game of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, especially in the 8th edition. They're the toughest chariots you can get. So that's what these guys are made up here. So it was very fun to get these guys painted up and to mount them on their bases. And that way I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how these guys perform on the battlefield as well. So this is the current progress that we've made so far on our Chaos Legion Slaanesh army, the Shrieking Masquerade. We have 2 units of infantry. We have a Gorebeast Chariot. We actually have 2 character models in the Beastmen unit. And we also have 2 chariots as well. In fact, if I remember correctly, I think we have enough here to actually start playing 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 points of Chaos Legion if we wanted to. If we really wanted to, you know, push it that far, we could actually do that if we wanted to. So yeah, progress is being made on this army very, very quickly. And like I said before, the only reason why is because I only had to paint 2 miniatures on this unit so far with these 2 guys. The rest of it is just base work, and working on bases is extremely easy at that point. So that's the current progress we've made on our army so far. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to jump over to my painting station real quick. We're going to show you exactly what the next unit we're working on and the future of the project for this 3,000 point Chaos Legion Slaanesh army. Alright, so here we are back at the painting station. You guys have seen this tabletop quite a bit in our videos, especially for our cheap shots. And if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, you've definitely seen this tabletop before because this is the painting station we use to paint up all of our miniatures. And this is actually the next unit that we're actually working on for this army. And this is a unit of 15 Forsaken of Chaos, sorry, 16 Forsaken. As you can see here, we have the old Hero Quest Chaos Warrior, as well as 15 Chaos Space Marine Possessed. And if you're wondering why I'm using the Possessed instead of buying a box of Forsaken, it's because when you buy a box of Forsaken, you only get 10 miniatures for those guys, and those guys cost, I think, 45 bucks at my local gaming store. Whereas I just bought 15 Possessed and bits and pieces from a secondhand guy at the same game store. I bought them for about 10 bucks. And you see they're also missing some backpacks and stuff, but that's probably fine because I didn't need the backpacks because I plan on using these guys for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. So that's the next unit we're working on. We're going to paint these guys up. I'm kind of planning on going with like a black armor kind of look with these guys. So going with black armor and then, black scroll work on the armor. And then bringing out like some fuchsia or some purplish colors for the armor panels itself to make these guys kind of really stick out as well. Kind of like almost like an Emperor's Children paint job on these guys. I think it look really cool. You know, kind of like a bright magenta kind of purplish color scheme going on with the armor is what I plan on running these guys. That or maybe going with some black skull work. So that's what I'm planning on doing with these guys. And then painting them up and making a little bit of adjustments to Slambo over there to make him look like he's part of the unit as well. So that's what I plan on working on next. And then after that as well, I'm planning on working on this Chaos Lord of Slaanesh, who's on this giant steed demonic mount thing of Slaanesh, this weird looking worm creature. And then there's the rider on top of it with this awesome looking halberd. I'm planning on running this guy as a wizard. That's what I plan on using, running him as a Chaos Sorcerer Lord called Telemachon Lyris, the Masked Prince. So I'm planning on calling that guy. And then this unit here will be called the Flesh Carnival. That's the name of the unit I'll be running these guys with, because you know they're always mutating and stuff and looking all kinds of crazy. So this is the next unit that we'll be working on next to paint that up. And then our Chaos Lord, and we'll definitely have 2,000 points at that point. And we can start playing him in our battle reports, you know, once we start making battle reports once again. So yeah, that's the next project that we're working on. So there you have it, guys. That's the current progress we made so far on our 3,000 point Slaanesh Legion of Chaos army. We're about a third of the way done with it. Now we're starting to get working into the other units as well, and we'll be painting those guys up, and as always, we'll be keeping you guys informed about what's going on with this army and the project that we're working on. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest, greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy, guys.